way necessary. So I'm still setting up. Just give me a couple minutes. Let's have a look here. Okay, I'll be right back. Just getting the astroturtles. So, good afternoon. I am just doing a sort of a quickie, spontaneous broadcast because there's some very important, everything's always important all the time, but sometimes more than others. Some pretty important stuff happening right now, and I've got my little list, and I'm going to share it with you. Here we are. There it is, if you can see it there. I'll do it on the stage, so give me a second. How are you doing? Oh, by the way, Necessary, thank you for sending me those notes about the double Capricorn full moon, because yes, it's correct, it's true. We did a little video about that. Let me just show you. I didn't actually address the subject because I wasn't even aware. But back over here, when was it? June 21st. Where was it? Oh, it might not be. Oh, wait a minute. I know I've got it here somewhere. 23rd of June, 22nd of June. Look at this. This was, this is going back a way now, but if you look, what we pointed out at the time was that we had an unusual full moon, because not only were we getting the moon opposite the sun was in Cancer, moon was in Capricorn, very tight early degrees. We were also getting hints of the Gemini Sagittarius from a little bit earlier. That was actually, I didn't actually do one on them. But no, forget about it. Anyway, there we go. That's my little illustration, because at that moment in time with the full moon back then, actually we're going to get it again, roughly speaking, I don't think I made too much of a big deal out of it, whether we had a double Capricorn full moon. I was more concerned about the hyper-stressful aspects here relative to the nodal axis over here, and how in my own TarotLumination style astrology it created this loose, big, fat, grand cross, grand square thing, which was super hyper-stressful for the whole world. And of course we talked about all the other stuff, but here we are today. This is the 7th of July, where we've been talking about the impending financial, let's say, black swan event, as they like to call it in the money world. But it's not such a black swan event when you have a bit of astrological information that could possibly grant you some foresight. So over here, this was the astrodoodle from yesterday. Now, yesterday was very frustrating because I did a video on Rumble, and so far it has not been processed correctly, and so I wrote to Rumble to see if they could fix it, because I think this is important stuff. I put some really important stuff out there, and I was too tired to basically record the whole thing and repeat it as well as I could on YouTube. The whole point of my Rumble is that it's a backup, because I say a lot of things on Rumble that I can't necessarily say on YouTube. So it really got me pissed. Anyway, here we are. This is the astrodoodle for yesterday. But I'm going to use more or less the same astrodoodle, because things have shifted a few degrees, but the moon over here in Leo is now firmly in Virgo. And this is where things are going to spice up a little bit, especially in about a day and a half. So I am officially going to turn this into a hybrid doodle. Hybrid like a labradoodle, like a, what are the other words they call a labradoodle? Anyway, sorry, I was trying to be funny. I'm going to add this into the 9th of July, and I'm going to show you why. Because in the 9th of July, the moon is now here in Virgo. I'm going to highlight that in orange. Okay. Over here in orange. Moon now in Virgo. And I don't know if we'll get to a video tomorrow, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up right now. Tomorrow or late tomorrow night or very early the next morning, let's have a look actually. Let me just do a quick double check here. 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11. Actually, on Friday, things are going to get really emotionally very turbulent in Washington. So we have a few days till then, but I'm giving you a heads up right now, because what's going to happen is that the moon is going to shuffle along here and eventually reach the 29-degree mark of Virgo. Okay? And that is going to set up a big, fat, red, I'll just sort of loosely pencil it in here, a big, fat opposition here that's going to last, I don't know, 10, 12 hours or something. And that's going to, what we're going to see is, what we're going to see, okay, I'm just going to try and explain it in very, very ultra hyper simplistic terms. We're already seeing the first stages of it. I'm going to get to these notes in just a moment. But what I feel that we're going to see on a global stage, but most especially over here in Washington, D.C., we're going to see a gathering of elites basically holding crisis meetings like they're doing right now, but this is going to drag on for another week or so, and it's going to reach a crescendo on Friday night. Okay? This Friday night, watch out. Like Love Triber says, it always happens on a Friday. They are planning something. The elites, the global cabal of mysterious people who have all the power and the money and the control, and they just can't help themselves. They just want more. They're trying to figure out what to do and how to do it, because some of their plans are coming unglued. All their treachery, lies, deception, betrayal, their standard operating procedures are falling apart live, real time, on the world stage. It can't be hidden anymore. Neptune is retrograde, 29 degrees Pisces. What do you expect? And at the same time, Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. Again, what do you expect? Kickback, very, very, very nasty karmic kickback for doing evil, for taking the beautiful energy of Neptune and flipping it and turning it into evil. Nasty. That's by choice. People choose to do that. And we the people have noticed. There's about there's about 7.8 or 7.9 billion people on Earth who have started to realize there's something very stinky, very fishy, very smelly, like the smell of a corpse, the smell of a dead body. I don't know if you've ever smelt it, but you never forget it. And that's the whole idea. Humans are genetically, biologically programmed using our olfactory senses to associate the phenomenon of rotting corpses with death. And that is supposed to trigger us, we the people, into recognizing that either death is very close to us, death is imminent, or this is a very scary thing, and we need to find a way to mitigate the problem so that we don't end up smelling like that as we die and our corpses rot. So that's what I think is happening right now. But it's going to amplify as the moon goes through Virgo. And what we're going to see across social media, random social media, but especially the alternative social media where truth tellers prefer to hang out, we're going to start to see panic, crisis, and the subject, the theme of the crisis is like, what the bleep are we going to do? I'm talking about the elites. What a bleep are we going to do? The people have figured it out. They have discovered the stench and the rot because we've had a massive sewage spill of all the rot that we've been hiding, the corruption, the betrayal, the lies, the deception, fraud, blackmail, murder, genocide, war machine, profiteering monstrosity that masquerades as a benevolent savior. The people have figured it out. And it's a real problem for the global financial system, elites at the very, very top. It's a real problem for the, let's say, the people who implement the policies of the elites and the cabal. Because if they go down, they go down. And we the people, we have a chance at recalibrating our world and having a little more of God-granted things like freedom, free speech, the right to protect and defend yourself, and on and on and on, as codified in this little book. So think of it this way. Think of Virgo, the Virgo energy, as the cleanup crowd, the cleanup campaign. And they're being called in by the elites. And the elites are saying, What are we going to do? What can we do? You're the people who do the cleanup. What are we going to do? And I think the Virgo energy is going to say, well, there's only so much we can do. We've been working under duress for you Cabal elites for a long time now, and we're sick of it. We're actually getting sick from doing the cleanup work from your sickness. And I know you're holding meetings in the Pelosi caucus room. I know you've got meetings in Washington. You've got meetings all over the world with the WHO, the CDC, the World Health Organization, the EU Parliament, on and on and on. We can't be everywhere all the time. There's only so much we can do. But you have created such a mind-boggling piece of shit that we can't actually clean it up. It's going to spill. It's just going to make a big, stinking, swirling, rotten, putrid mess. And then the elites go, well, there must be something you can do. Otherwise you're going to be out of a job. And the cleanup crew is like, we don't even want this job. We're only here because we're being forced. So anyway, that's what I feel is going to happen. It's going to be a very, very serious crisis meeting of all the heads and the heads of the elites, the heads of the departments of the elites who are the heads of the department of the elites. And they're going to be convening. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? The people have figured it out. We have to do something mind-boggling. Maybe we'll go nuclear. Maybe we'll have a nuclear war. Maybe we'll instigate a civil war. Something like that. Maybe we'll do another bug virus thing. We've got the bird thing going. We had the other one, number 19. We've got all the injections ready to go, but it's not working. It's not strong enough. We need absolute terror. We need absolute panic. Complete crisis so that we can get back to doing what we do. And of course, as far as I'm concerned, that sounds like insanity. To me, that's just insanity. But that's what's happening. It's happening in Washington right now, live as we speak. It's been going on all day. It's happening in China right now. China, as you know, it pumps out enormous amounts of propaganda about how amazing it is, how they're going to take over the world, and everyone's going to love it. And it's not working. It's not working well at all. At all. Mr. Ping. Okay, I'm going to go to my notes here. Give me a second. Mr. Ping is over there in China, and he was having one of his crisis meetings with his top people that he trusts. There's not a lot that he trusts anymore because he started to realize that everybody wants to take him down because China is imploding and there's no one else to blame except Mr. Ping himself. The whole system is a massive criminal, enterprise, and they all turn on each other. Anyway, this is unverified, but something leaked out of the meeting, and the tone of the leak is something like this. Mr. Ping is fully aware of how bad things are in China. He's fully aware of all the depravity, the corruption, the theft that goes on in the military, in politics, in banking, in the stock market, in real estate, in private enterprise, in state-owned enterprises, all of it. He knows how bad it is. And he's got his ideas about how to fix it. His solutions? War and much harder CCP crackdowns. That's the only thing to do. The people be damned. That's the essence of what leaked out on that meeting. Can you believe that? Anyway, that's what it is. When I look at the charts, I put it in shorthand here. Neptune plus Saturn in Pisces, at their situations, at their angles, I see it as a death spiral. If you think the dollar's going down, then the yuan is going down much, much worse. And that spells a lot of problems for Mr. Ping and 1.4 billion people. And then that has a spillover effect on millions and billions of other people, because Mr. Ping is trying to build his coalition of, I don't know what to call them, Russia, Iran, China, North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela. They're all trying to figure out ways to coalesce so that they can go to war against the good old USA. And my feelings are that I'd like to assure you, anybody who's watching, that no matter, okay, this I'm really serious about this. I'm not trying to soothe myself or anything, but I personally believe this. This is my opinion. No matter how bad it is over here now in DC, with all the communists and the elites doing their thing, and they're doing their DEI, and they're doing their social engineering agendas, and trying to present it to America and the world as a beautiful, benevolent way to live going forward. No matter how bad it is, because it's falling apart. Everybody can see it. Everybody in the world can see it. It's like a episodic show on Netflix. Like every day, people tune into the next chapter, the next episode, just to see how bad it is and see who's going to be taken out, who's rising up, who's the next criminal, and so on and so on. And all of that stuff is going on over here. But the way the United States military is built is that there is a certain degree of separation between the United States military and this. Okay? In China, in Beijing, at the CCP, this basically owns and controls the PLA, the People's Liberation Army. It's all one singular organism. It's not like that in America. The American military, a good chunk of it, no matter how debilitated we might be at this moment in time, we're still pretty capable. We're pretty stretched, but we're still pretty capable. And these are people you never really see. You don't see them on mainstream news or YouTube channels talking about, oh, we're going to move this aircraft carrier over here, and don't worry, we've got 87 F-35 jets already prepped up, fueled up, ready to go over there near China, over on the islands in Spratly. They're not going to tell you anything like that. You can go to like military blogs in defense.org or defense.gov and things like that, but they're not going to tell you what they're actually going to do. That would be like putting a big poster on the front door. Dear criminal, please do not go to the back door to try and break into this house. That's because one of the systems on the double lock back door is not working very well, and if you used a screwdriver, you could just prise it open. So don't go there. Okay. Anyway, Mr. Ping is fully aware that he has put himself into a corner in order to keep his dream alive about taking over the world, which is what he wants to do, taking over the world, turning it into one massive CCP organism with himself as the boss, because he's already running things like the United Nations and the World Health Organization and so on. One of the problems he's discovering is that his own military is not what it's supposed to be. They've got a lot of propaganda trying to tell the world how amazing they are, but it's not going well. All the Chinese citizens themselves are fully aware about how, I don't know what the word is, corrupt, flawed, fragile. It's not even that. Basically, their whole military is like the rest of their country. It's built on intellectual property theft, and all these things that where there's no actual core innovation. And so when they deliver a new Chinese jet, it looks just identical to an F-35, or a new Chinese aircraft carrier. It's based on a Russian this, or it's a mess. Anyway, Mr. Ping realizes that, but he has to keep going anyway, because that's what he's basically told the world. I'm taking over the world. I'm going to take Taiwan by force if necessary. We've got the biggest army, the most powerful army in the whole world, and we're going to do it. And it's just like, I'm not quite sure when, that's all. And so everyone in the world is kind of going, okay, all right, okay, so we better do something about this. So the rest of the world is doing something about it. Because a lot of people don't want to live under the CCP. I sure don't. So anyway, they're in a death spiral over there. And the whole way that they keep their economy going is through the process of fraud, deception, lies, betrayal, theft. I think I said all that already many times. Their stock market is a fake stock market. When they issue what do they call it? An initial stock, or an ISO, or whatever, initial stock offering for a corporation, in New York or Wall Street, that would be a way to raise money so a corporation can grow with public money and public scrutiny. In China, what they do is, when they do that, when they go public, it's a way to suck in enormous amounts of money from the public, thinking that this company is going to grow and be amazing. And as soon as all the money is being sucked in and collected, the company is shut down, and the retail investors are screwed. It's theft. It's another form of theft. People are figuring it out. Another thing that's going on, as you know, Nancy over here, she's in one of her offices somewhere over here, in one of these buildings over here. She's in there with all her team and trying to figure out how to stop the implosion of the Democrat Party in America. In other words, Grandpa Joe, there's all this drama about what's happening with Grandpa Joe and who are we going to replace him with, or if we can or should or what. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then there's another secondary team that's happening in Washington right now, and it's all the bigwigs from NATO. They're all doing the same thing. They're having these big meetings. It's nothing, none of the Republicans are there, but a lot of the Dems are there in the Nancy caucus, trying to figure out how are we going to keep the war machine going in Ukraine. The rest of the world has figured out that there's a lot of dead bodies. The war is not going as well as the Russians had planned, and it's not going as well as the Ukrainians had planned, even with NATO. It's a freaking mess. And people are starting to call for peace. They actually want peace. We can't have peace. It's going to ruin everything. We're all dependent on kickbacks from the military-industrial complex in each one of our countries. Nancy, what are you going to do? So that's what's happening right now. It's a very upside-down world, okay? Also, you probably heard about Alejandro Mayorkas and his gang of NGOs, all funded by the UN and all those Soros people. He's going all over the world. Oh, wait a minute. I think I mentioned this the other day, or at least I mentioned it on my Rumble video. They're very actively going all over the world. As I might have told you, the country of Panama is working very hard to shut down the Darien Gap, because Panama is sick of all the invaders coming from all over the world, from here, from here, from here, from here, from here, trying to go through this little tiny place here called the Darien Gap. It's in southern Panama, so that they can get into Panama and up through Central America and into Mexico to hook up with the cartels and the Chinese to cross the border. It's becoming more and more difficult. So Alejandro Mayorkas has figured it out, like, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fast track everything. So they're setting up these what are they called? SMOs? Secure Mobility Organizations. SMOs, Secure Mobility Organizations. SMOs. Here, 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 here. Here, 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 to basically hold hands with all the people that they're trying to bring into here. So in other words, you're not on your own anymore. You're not just going to get $1,000 on a debit card and good luck. You're going to be ushered in on a VIP service to enter the USA. And you won't have to deal with all the hell over here and the rape and the pillage and the murder and the cartels. You can just go that's it. Simple. Anyway, I just wanted to get all these things off my chest, get some of these notes out there so that you are appraised and hopefully waking up. Now this is kind of a fictional astrodoodle, as I told you. This is from yesterday when the moon was here. Okay, right here. The moon today right now is here. Sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, the moon today is right now here, and on Friday night it's going to be roughly over here, where it's going to be triggering a major crisis event, very much along the lines of what I've been describing already, but I think it's going to be much more vivid, much more understandable, and much harder to keep it out of the mainstream news. I mean, I'm getting this all off of all the alternates and, you know, friends of friends and all that kind of stuff. But it's leaking into the mainstream news. CNN itself is basically calling it out themselves on themselves. They're basically calling it out. This is a mess. This is a mess. The Democrats are in full-blown crisis, major crisis. They know damn well the only way they can hold on to power is through lies, cheating, betrayal, deception, fraud, blackmail, election fraud, and all of that kind of stuff. That's the only way they can do it. So they're trying to figure out, how are we going to do it without people realizing that's what we're going to do? Insanity. Okay? It's being called out. And of course, there are some very tough defenders of the regime. They're in denial. It's understandable. But anyway, it's all leaking out. It's a massive sewage spill, and this whole place stinks. It's the stench of truth. That's what I like to call it. That's my new bumper sticker. The stench of truth. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I've shared enough. I don't want to scare people. I'm scaring myself enough at this point. So fare thee well. Have a super evening, and we'll be back again very soon. Okay. Take care. Love thyself. Do whatever you got to do. Use nose clips. Do your own cleanup campaign in your own world.